What are you bound by? What are you yoked to? I'll let you know that we're all bound by something. 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, being made free from sin, you have become slaves of righteousness. Verse 19 says, just as you presented yourself to uncleanness, lawlessness, which produced more lawlessness, he says, now present yourselves to righteousness, which produces holiness. So again, I tell you that we're all bound, we're all a slave to something, either unrighteousness or righteousness. Here's the invitation that Jesus gives us in Matthew 11, verse 28. He says, come to me, all that you who are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Remember, I told you that we're all yoked, we're all bound by something. Jesus gives us an invitation. He's saying, no longer do you need to live and be a slave to the desires of your flesh, that sin nature that wants to do any and everything that makes it feel good. No longer do you have to be bound by the thoughts and that's telling you to do all the things that you find yourself not wanting to do. He says, take my yoke, be bound by me, no longer live by the uncleanness, the lawlessness, the rebellion of my word. This invitation to lay it down, he says, you will find rest. Notice that he has already figured out that our soul is weary. Why is it weary? Because being a slave to sin, you find yourself only for a short while being satisfied. But then sin always produces this penalty that never makes the act worthwhile. Hence the reason for wanting to find rest. Know that righteousness, he tells us, is far better. So put on that. Notice that when you live righteously, you have peace. When you sin, you feel bad because your new master is righteousness. Matthew the 6th chapter says, you can't serve two masters. Either you will love one and hate the other, or you will be loyal to one and despise the other. We have an obligation to choose. And a loving God, he does not force himself, but he's making a compelling case that righteousness is far better. So here's how he sums this invitation up in Matthew 11, verse 29 or verse 30. But it says this. It says, my burden is easy. My yoke is light. That's a compelling case. He's letting us know, choose him. See, one of the benefits of righteousness is that it produces holiness. And when you are in right standing, remember, seek ye first the kingdom and all those other things. Those other things are prosperity. It came as a benefit package of simply being in right standing. So again, I ask you, what are you bound to?